Bethany. I did 10 years active duty in the Air Force, and then I've been in the reserves since 2018. When 9/11 happened, I remember I was sitting in 5th grade and it was on the news, and that was one thing also that drove me to join the military, because these people were attacking our country, and I'm a 5th grader sitting there like, okay, maybe I can do something about that. Maybe. I joined when I was 18, 19, almost 19, and I didn't want to go to college at the time. I didn't want to do all that, so I was like, all right, well, let me go do this. Let me get some structure and some discipline in my life, because that's kind of wild. And I was like, all right, well, let me go do that. And it was pretty scary. I was partying and doing all the things that teens do. And I got to a point where I was like, okay, if I don't figure life out, I'm not going to end up where I want to end up. So I was like, Mom, I'm just going to go to the Air Force. I'm going to do 4 years, and then I'm going to get out and go to nursing school and do all that. And then life happens, and I got married, and then I had a baby, and 4 years turned into 10. So I joined in August of 2009 into what they call the delayed enlistment program, where I had to wait for my job opening to slot me in. But I didn't leave for basic until March of 2010. So I had about 6 months ish where I was just here in limbo waiting. And if they could have called me earlier, they would have. And you just have to wait for a position to open. Alamogordo, that was my first duty station. And I was there from 2010 until 2013. And then I got moved to Tucson. And I have been in Tucson ever since. I am a weapons technician, so I put weapons on airplanes. Right now I'm in the helicopter squadron, so we put guns on helicopters. And that in the Navy is called an ordnance personnel, and they deal, but theirs is ammo and weapons all in one, whereas in the Air Force munitions is separate than a weapons loader. So munitions builds all the bombs and the ammunition, and then they bring it out to us and we put it on the aircraft. We have these little trucks that'll hold the bombs, and you drive them up, and there's racks that they go on, and you lock them in and pin them and stuff and arm them up, and then they go off and fly and drop them and come back empty. Working in a very male-dominant career field, you definitely have to work harder and hold your weight. I've seen some women in my career field that will skate off and let the men do everything, and I'm like, that's why we have a bad name, because people like you don't hold your own and do your job. So then the ones that do their job, we still get put in that category of women shouldn't be maintainers, and I'm like, that's not very fair, because I have plenty of friends that are awesome maintainers, and they're women, and they'll get a jet ready faster than any dude I ever met. But they still get put in that, oh, you're just a girl, you shouldn't be working out here. I'm in a rescue squadron, so we do combat search and rescue. And so we deploy every 1 to 2 years. I deployed in 2017 to Turkey for 7 months. Yeah, we were there during the Turkish coup, where their military tries to take over their government, and it was all kinds of crazy. I went to Africa in 2020. I was in the reserves, but I had a federal service job in Tucson at the base, which is my same job, just on civilian side. And so I was working 10, 12 hours a day, and my daughter was at daycare, school, 10, 12 hours. And I'm like, this is not how I want to raise her in a big city by myself. So after my deployment, when I got back, I told my mom, I said, Mom, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to move home and I'm going to go to nursing school. And she said, okay. So she moved me and my daughter into her house. And we lived there for about 1.5 years while I went to school. And I'm still in school, but I moved out into my own house and we're doing good. I don't know. I'm more thankful for them, I think, because they help more than they can even imagine with my daughter and everything else. So I've always wanted to be a nurse, always. And then I just, like I said, in high school, I didn't really take school seriously. I was just over it. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to have fun. And then when I joined the military and started working and doing that, I was like, ooh, this is not really what I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't want to work outside in the heat and be dirty and do that all the time. Like, that's not what I want to do. And so I'd always had this plan, like I was going to go to nursing school. One way or another, I was going to do it. And then I just finally was like, okay, it's either now or never. Like, if I don't do it now, like, it's never going to happen. And so I just kind of bit the bullet and left everything that I ever knew and was like, okay, let's just start over from scratch. What I want to do is labor and delivery. Like, I gotta help moms bring life into the world, because that's something you'll never forget ever in your life. And being a mom myself, I'm like, I was so grateful for all of my labor and delivery nurses. I can be an officer in the reserves and continue my career there, because I've been in 14 years almost. So I have like 6 left to retire. Your time in service of 20 years, like, that counts. That matters. That's a big deal. And so you can retire with your military honors and do all of that, and it's a big deal. It's good for people to, like, if you need structure, if you need balance, like, it's a good place to start. If you want to make a career out of it, get your college degree first and go be an officer. Enlisted is good. I mean, I would not change my experience being enlisted at all, but to make a career and make it, like, beneficial more so than out on the civilian side, I guess, get your degree and commission and be an officer. It does give you discipline, it gives you structure, it makes you, like, really see what goes into your military and what they do for your country. If you like to be, like, mechanical, if you like to do that, go enlisted, because you can work on airplanes, you can work on vehicles. There's so many things you can do maintenance wise. But if you're more of, like, an office person or like to be inside, get your degree in, like, administration, and then you can be an officer and run, like, a unit. You'd run, like, the group or whatever. You just gotta find something that you like and then see if it transfers to military wording and go from there. When you raise your right hand and you say your enlistment oath to serve your country, like, that's very rewarding. You're like, oh, that's a big deal, and it means a lot. And some people don't take it seriously. Like, you have people that join that are just like, oh, I'm here for this many years just to get school money or whatever. And then you get some people that are like, I'm here to make this a career. I'm here to do 20 years. I want to be a lifer. And then you get people that are like, well, we're going to see how it goes. And then those people usually turn into lifers, because they're like, you know, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. And really, the military isn't as bad as people are like. It's terrible, and it's really not. They feed you. Like, your first 4 years. They put you in a place to live. They feed you. They make sure like you have your necessities, and they like groom you to be a successful airman. And so like taking the oath, you're like, okay, I gotta uphold this and do my part because they're doing their part for me. So I gotta do my part for them. Honestly, I don't think I would have done anything different. 19-year-old me, maybe I would have been a little more serious in my first couple years, done things a little bit different. But now, like, I'm in nursing school, and then I'm going to commission to be an officer, to be a nurse in the Air Force. So, like, I think the whole path just, like, led me to where I'm at now.